What's going on, guys? Today I'm going to go over my top 5 flies over the past year and why I choose them specifically for trout. Hands down, when I'm fishing a stream, when I'm fishing a still water pond, primarily I'm going to break myself down into simplicity as well as different types of patterns for different situations. So for me, I love tightline or Euro style nymphing, and so for me, one of the most important things is how deep can I get with my fly, as well as how universal and beneficial is this fly in most situations. And for that, I hands down love to fish bomber style, so like a 4 mil bead, Euro style jig hook, pheasant tail with a red collar, or like a purple collar, and I think that in combination with a flashback is a really good fly for most applications, and I can fish it low and slow. I can fish it in quick current, basically whenever I want, however I want. If I'm not fishing that, I'm fishing a buy it style stone. So that's kind of the variation there. But regardless, it's the same body, and if I'm not fishing that, I'm also getting low and slow with my number 2 fly, which is a Perigone or a Perigone. It's a very simple, very thin-bodied fly, gets down deep, gets the job done. I've kind of shied away from some of the bulkier stuff, like the Warrior, or like the Red Dart, towards these Perigone-style flies. They're Spanish in origin, and I really like them. Biased in that way, but at the same time, I really like them because they get down super fast, very quickly, and they're really easy to cast. They're not bulky in the wind. I can fish heavier tippet if I need to, but in combination with super light tippet, thin diameter, and these really big beaded, thin-bodied flies, they absolutely do wonders in most waters. Third favorite style fly lately has been any type of sulfur or spinner in an atom style pattern, but I've also been tying using very unique materials, and I'll explain to you guys. Basically, what I like to do is I like to take an atom style parachute if I can, but to make it easier on myself, I actually just use like stuffing from a teddy bear that you can buy that in craft stores, and I T-pose basically with this material. Throw a little bit of like loon or aqua like grease on it so it floats, and it floats for days. It casts really easily. It's super it's less bushy than an atom style pattern, but it gets the job done on still water. It looks like a crippled mayfly, and it does a really good job imitating that. And if I can twitch it on still water and on ponds, and it won't sink like sometimes an Adams does, even if you grease it super well. So that's my third favorite, is like a sulfur style pattern, especially around here, border of PA and New York. We get crazy sulfur hatches, and also you can tie them a little bit bigger to imitate some of the like moth style or large caddis style hatches that we have towards the later part of the evenings in the midsummer. Third best fly for this year, obviously a woolly booger, but I like to fish the thin mint style woolly booger. The color pattern is nice. I can imitate basically leeches. I can imitate salamanders. I can imitate basically anything, bait fish, and I can throw that for bass. I can throw that for trout. I can throw that for basically anything if tied small enough or large enough. And it's really hard to beat because you can cone head it, you can bead head it, you can like sculpin head it. You can do whatever you want to it, but thin mint style bugger is, for the win, one of the better streamers for me this year. Next fly is a Clowser. Now, a Clowser for most is a brightly colored pattern or white pattern, but I've been finding that black and red has been really good for smallmouth, for largemouth, but again, olive and black, a great pattern for your trout and or bass in a pond. You can almost fish it like a Ned rig, and if you balance tie the pattern, meaning that you tie it so that the shank of the hook is in the middle-ish of the pattern, and it hangs freely down, kind of like level, super effective for like dead sticking. You can fish it creeping along. You can kind of float it. You can bob it. You can jig it. Anything you want, and it will imitate anything basically you need that is as far as a dying or crippled fish, and it is great. And if you stick it in the water, it doesn't have a tendency to be too aggressive for fish. So a balanced fly, a balanced tie, Clowser can do wonders. Same thing with the olive woolly bugger or the thin mint woolly bugger as well. And my last major fly I've been liking is basically it's like a royal wolf, but it's tied with deer hair, and I forget the name off the top of my head, but I wanted to bring it up. It is a fantastic fly. If tied small enough, it imitates a pellet. It imitates a mayfly. It imitates a caddis. It imitates a dragonfly if tied correctly. Basically, this thing smashes stocked fish, does really well with floating, and so if you wanted to fish the same fly for days without having to dab it dry, it does really well on streams, does really well in the pond, and so I would be remiss if I didn't bring it up, but that is my last fly. Obviously, I've covered my favorite nymphs, I've covered my favorite streamers, and my favorite dry flies, but this is quite honestly exactly what I use for all the trout that I've been fishing and all the systems I've fished this season, and I've never had a day where I've been skunked, which is great. Even on a pond, like, once in a while, like, I don't fish my pond as often as I'd like to because I want to make sure that it's an experiment. I'm trying to see if I get any holdover, so on hot days I don't fish it. I definitely think that there's room for in your arsenal to experiment with fly tying, experiment with new flies, new colors, new patterns, and expand your horizons. But hopefully this was helpful. And if it was, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Check out the links below for my apparel. Awesome new stuff dropping all the time. As well as playlists for all these different new video topics and things. But if you liked it, again, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, check out the videos, share with a friend, and until next time, guys, catch you guys on the flip side. Tight lines, and we're out.